By pretty much every external metric out there, you are an absolute success. You've got the titles, the accolades, and that rock-solid reputation of being the person who just has it all handled. I mean, people rely on you, right? But beneath that flawless professional exterior, you might actually be carrying this invisible, crushing weight. You might be completely exhausted by expectations you never actually intended to carry in the first place. So in today's Explainer, we're going to perform a forensic audit of the high performer's psyche. We're drawing directly from Abdifada Usman Hussein's brilliant work to explore why, for you, success might just be feeling a whole lot heavier than failure right now. Okay, let's dive into this. Because this quote perfectly captures the core dilemma. You are winning at a game you never chose to play. Just think about that for a second. The very skills that built your incredible success, your hypervigilance, your intense perfectionism, your uncanny ability to just suppress your own needs for the sake of the project, those exact same skills have quietly become the bars of a cage. You built a mask to survive and excel, and hey, it worked beautifully. But now you're trapped by your own reliability. Here is our blueprint for today's Explainer. We'll cover the success paradox, the superadapter origin, architecture of the mask, cognitive and behavioral systems, the legacy gap, and finally, unmasking your performance pattern. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The success paradox. Winning an unchosen game. So on the surface, we have your external metrics, your titles, your dependability, basically the face you show the world. But internally, if we look under the hood, we find a totally different infrastructure, chronic exhaustion, and this constant humming background anxiety. We so often mistake this internal reality for a lack of willpower, or we tell ourselves, I just need a vacation. But Hussein defines this not as simple burnout, but as structural fatigue. It's a system designed for short-term survival that has been forced into long-term, agonizing service. And the crazy part? Every new career milestone doesn't actually feel like a resting point anymore. It just feels like a higher floor from which you might eventually fall. Section 2. The superadapter origin. Childhood adaptation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the performance pattern actually starts in the quiet negotiations of childhood. You learned early on to trade your performance for safety. Maybe you were the golden child, trading straight A's for affection. Or perhaps the invisible performer, offering quiet utility and just trying to stay out of the way. Or even the surrogate parent, literally managing family crises before you even learned how to ride a bike. Whichever profile you fit into, you developed a deeply transactional belief system. Basically, if I am useful enough, like if I obsessively color code my entire relaxation schedule, I will be loved. And bringing that childhood survival strategy into adulthood, it carries a massive hidden tax. Maintaining that transactional self, running a high-definition simulation of a perfect person 16 hours a day, consumes a staggering 90% of your cognitive RAM. You aren't just stressed, your entire system is chronically overloaded, just trying to keep the mask securely in place. Section 3. Architecture of the mask. The performance pyramid. And this brilliantly illustrates the foundation of the problem. At the base of the performance pyramid, we find identity. For the high performer, identity is highly conditional. It's absolutely not a stable core. It's completely 100% tied to output. I am successful when I deliver. The second the validation stops, the self feels like it's going to collapse. Moving up to step 2, we find the emotional layer. Think of this as the plumbing. High performers don't really feel their emotions. They manage them, they optimize them, they intellectualize their feelings rather than actually experiencing them. But here's the catch with bypassing your emotional plumbing. Those suppressed emotions, they don't just magically vanish. They migrate. They turn into what Hussein defines as somatic strikes. Because you've intellectualized your anxiety, your body actually has to step in and communicate the distress physically. This is that intense back pain that always hits right before a major deadline. It's the migraines following a tough confrontation, or that inexplicable fatigue that sleeping 10 hours just won't fix. The body keeps the score when the mind flat out refuses to. Section 4. Cognitive and behavioral systems. Defending the system. Let's move to and see how this builds upon those foundational layers. Step 3 is your cognitive layer, which acts as your brain's security software, tightly guarding that fragile, conditional identity we just talked about. And step 4 is the behavioral layer. This is the meticulously curated habits and efficiency engines that the rest of the world actually sees. Together, these two steps ensure that the performance literally never stops. Let's look a bit closer at that cognitive security software. Your brain is running 4 specific defense programs at maximum sensitivity right now. First, perfectionism. And it's not about excellence, it's entirely about control and feeling safe. Then there's catastrophizing, which is your threat detection system seeing minor, everyday setbacks as total, unmitigated disasters.
Third, all or nothing thinking. This leaves absolutely zero room for a learning curve. You are either crushing it or you are failing completely. And finally, mental time travel. This keeps you compulsively rehearsing past mistakes or bracing for future disasters, ensuring you are literally everywhere except present in the current moment.
And the behavioral cost of this system is severe. I mean, you optimize, you automate, and you streamline absolutely everything. But efficiency without purpose is just a treadmill that speeds up while keeping you in the exact same place. The more you do, the more you are expected to do, you become completely trapped in a behavioral cycle, heavily optimized for output, leaving absolutely no room for actual presence, joy, or well-being. Section 5. The Legacy Gap. Meaning and alignment. Step 5 completes our performance pyramid. The legacy layer represents the profound, sometimes terrifying realization that your success might have just been a reaction to your environment rather than a genuine response to a calling. This is where you pause and ask, wait, what is all of this actually for? And for many people operating behind the mask, the answer is uncomfortably hollow. This hollow feeling is defined here as the meaning gap. It is that vast, painful space between what you have achieved on paper and what you actually value in your soul. The fancy titles and the money don't fill the hole they were supposed to fill. It's a failure of alignment, not a failure of achievement. It's the absolute devastation of spending your entire life efficiently climbing a ladder, only to look around at the very top and realize it was leaning against the completely wrong wall. Section 6. Unmasking your pattern. Dismantling the mask. First things first, we absolutely have to acknowledge that the psyche is an integrated system. Changing one layer affects all the others. And this is exactly why surface-level productivity hacks completely fail. You cannot fix imposter syndrome with a few positive affirmations in the mirror, and you certainly cannot fix deep, structural burnout with a one-week vacation to the beach. To truly heal, we have to audit the entire system. Hussein provides a diagnostic framework to do just that, using 5 critical questions. So, the crucial point is, we have to confront the very base of your pyramid. Question 1 targets your identity layer. What conditions must be met for you to feel enough? Are you only enough when you hit the deadline, when you get the praise from your boss? Recognizing these external conditions is the absolutely vital first step to untangling your worth from your output. Question 2 inspects your emotional plumbing. What emotions do you habitually suppress or avoid? Because beneath the mask lives a shadow self, holding all the anger, the vulnerability, and the deep exhaustion you've deemed unproductive. You have to stop intellectualizing these feelings and start actually feeling them in your body before they turn into even more of those somatic strikes. Question 3 asks you to audit your behavioral systems. What habits maintain your mask? Think about it. What are the highly efficient routines you do every single day that are keeping you safe, but simultaneously keeping you entirely stuck? Look for the places where you just can't say no, or where you refuse to delegate because doing so feels like weakness. Question 4 confronts your legacy. If you had unlimited time and absolutely no need for external approval, what would you build? This measures the gap between the life of high-performance survival you're currently leading and your true, authentic purpose. If literally no one was watching, would you still be doing this work? Finally, I want to leave you with this really provocative thought. What would it mean to be enough without external validation? The mask served you well. I mean, it got you through school and it built your career. But survival is not the same thing as living. It's time to stop being a victim of your own reliability. It's time to do the deep, quiet self-reflection required to finally take the mask off and discover who you truly are underneath.